Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shay. I am a full-time reseller on Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari.
I am Tyler, part-time seller on Mercari, eBay, Poshmark.
And in today's video, we are going to do something kind of controversial.
I think it's a little bit controversial, although I don't know why, because at the end of the day, if you're selling on the platforms, your goal is to make as much money as you can.
Yes.
If you're using this as either your full income or a portion of your income, the dollars matter.
Yes. Okay, so before we get into it, I'm sure you saw the thumbnail and you're curious, but if you like this type of video, you want to know more about how to make sales, what kind of inventory we're getting, where we're getting it, all that kind of stuff, make sure that you subscribe to this channel and click that little bell next to it so you're notified every time that we post a new video. We post new videos every Sunday and Wednesday. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up, and also give us a comment down below. Let us know, do you already do all of the things that we've mentioned in this video? Do you do something differently that you find works for you? Do you disagree with something we've said in the video? Let us know down below. We love having conversations with you, and we always like to learn from you. So, that said, the thumbnail that you probably clicked on said, asked you the question, does more listings equal more sales?
And, well, yes, it does. What the actual question should be is, does more listings equal more profit?
Yes, and again, it does. But how much? And when you're running a business, especially a small business, what you want to do is maximize how much profit you're making without spending more money to do so. Well, I guess you don't have to spend more money.
Well, it's the old expression, a penny saved is a penny earned.
Yeah.
So that will bear out in these numbers.
Yes. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you some numbers explaining why we feel the way we feel about this. And then we're also, at the end of the video, going to give you some tips on how you can basically improve the way that we think is the most effective way. And hopefully these tips are useful for you, and hopefully nobody kind of thinks of it as bashing other methodologies, because everything does have its place, and we'll explain where we feel the other methodologies are important as well.
I mean, this is just, at the end of the day, we're trying to help as many people as we can. So we're going to talk first about sell-through rate. Now, sell-through rate is incredibly important because having a higher sell-through rate is going to be more impactful than buying more items to list to sell during the course of your month, quarter, whatever time frame you're looking at.
Yeah, so I want to say before he goes into numbers that are really confusing, we kind of spent a little bit of time looking for a sell-through rate calculation that we felt made the most sense for us, because there does seem to be different sell-through rate calculations. So I will link down below where we found this calculation, but it is specifically for retail, so I think it's more applicable to us.
Right.
So the numbers that we're going to be looking at is beginning of month stock, and he'll tell you how to calculate your beginning of month stock. And then our sell-through rate is going to be the amount of sales we've had divided by the beginning of month stock. So as we go through it, we will explain each number, but I want you to understand that there are different ways, but this is how we are doing it.
And we extrapolated it so it's not on a month basis, but on a quarter basis. So
Yes.
we looked at the last 3 months.
Yes.
So beginning of quarter number, you get the end of quarter number that you have in your closet.
Yes, that was the inventory number that you have at the end of the quarter.
Which is, for us, 567.
Mm-hmm.
You subtract out the number of listed items for that quarter.
Yep.
Which for us was about 3 a day. So
we rounded.
Rounded up to 300 items. And then plus the number of items that you've sold across all the platforms.
Right, so that's going to give you the number that you started with at the beginning of the quarter.
Right. So for us, the number we get is 567 end of quarter minus 300 for the listed items plus 212 sales, which gets us 488.
Yes.
So we take that number, we take the number of sales that we've made, 212 for the quarter, divided by 488, which gives us 43.4.
Right.
So just shy of 50%.
Yes, so there are a few things you want to note with this. Your sell-through rate is going to change. It's going to be rapidly evolving. This was actually for during our summer months, which we found was pretty slow for us. Could be a number of reasons for that, but I would assume that if we calculated it again in the next 3 months, it would be a lot higher because sales have picked up. So constantly be reevaluating this number.
Right.
If you want to do it on a monthly basis to kind of keep pulse on your business, it's probably a good idea.
So now we want to look at what does that mean in terms of actual money in your pocket. So we've all heard if you list more items, you'll make more sales, and that's going to be more money. With that also comes the cost of buying the new items.
Right. So what we wanted to do was find out, okay, if I had a less than 50% sell-through rate. So sell-through rate, the general consensus seems to be that your target is 50% or more. Okay, so but what if I don't have that? What if I'm a newer reseller, or maybe I just don't have that? I don't. I have 43.4. So what if I don't? So what we wanted to know is if we had a lower sell-through rate, then would more listings equal more sales, or would it be more beneficial for us to increase our sell-through rate?
Right.
So we used arbitrary numbers for this, but we figured out the difference.
We used a 25% sell-through rate versus a 50% sell-through rate just because they're easier numbers.
Yes.
And we looked at it on a weekly cost. So how many items, three a day, times an average cost of $5 versus 9 items a day, average cost of $5.
Right, and these numbers should track no matter what your numbers are. I would assume would track either way.
They should work out to some varying degree.
Right.
So if you list 3 items a day, times 7, it's 21 items total for the week.
Mm-hmm.
And if you spent $5 per item, you're at $105 cost that you spent. Now if you have a 25% sell-through rate, 25% of 21 is going to be 5 items, 5.25, but I rounded down. Which, if you have an average sale price of $20, gets you to $100. So for the week you made $100, you spent $105. So you actually lost $5 in that example.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you up your number of listings to...
You double it.
You triple it.
So triple it,
Triple it. You go from 3 items a day to 9 items a day. That's 63 items for the week times $5, which would be $315 cost.
Okay.
And if you keep the same sell-through rate at 25%, it was 15.75. I rounded up to 16. So 16 times 20, if that's your average sell price, would be $320. So if you take the 320 minus the 315 that you spent, you actually made $5. So it's a swing of $10.
Yeah. So you tripled your sales, your profit.
Yes.
But it was for $10. So was that amount of work and was the amount of sales that you made, the profit you made, worth it to you? In a lot of ways, yes. I mean, you made more money. But is there a more effective way to do that? So that's what we wanted to know. So what we then did was we said, okay, looking at the same sell-through rate and the same average sale price, what would happen if I increased my sell-through rate? Increase my sell-through rate.
Yes.
So if I went from
25 to 50.
So what would happen then?
So if you list 3 items a day, you're still $5 cost. You're still at 105. But if you increase it from 5 items that you sold to 10 items you sold,
which would be from 25% to 50%,
you go to $200 that you've made.
Right.
So if you take $200 minus 105, you made $95, which
is better than minus 5.
Right, you've made actual money there.
Yes.
And if you were to then combine both of them, so if you were to triple your number of listings with a 50% sell-through, you go to the same cost, $315, but you sold 32 items instead of 16.
Yeah.
At $20, you get $640. Subtract $315, you're at $325. Those numbers, to me personally, are more impactful than the $10 you made by upping the number of listings.
But I think what the main question is going to be, and I don't know if you have this answer, but it's going to be, how much more did my profit increase for me changing my sell-through rate versus me changing my number of listings?
So, what this means to you is, if you go from 3 items a day to 9 items a day, you've doubled your money, because you go from -5 to +5.
So tripling your listings in this scenario doubled your money.
Correct.
Okay.
If you go from 25% sell-through to 50% sell-through, it's 20 times your return.
So tripling your listings doubled your money, but doubling your sell-through rate times 20 your money. I don't know
Yes.
the word for that.
By a factor of 20 times. So you went from making $5 instead of losing $5 to, if you only listed 3 a day, you went from losing $5 to making $95. So you changed by $100 rather than $10.
Right. Okay, so those obviously are kind of arbitrary numbers, but it should track no matter what your thing is. So the first thing you need to do to decide if this is going to be useful for you is figure out what your sell-through rate is. So hopefully you can use the calculation we gave you. I will also link in the description where we found the calculation if you are visual and really want to look through it. But so figure that out. Figure out what your sell-through rate is. And then if you do find that it's under 50%, now the reason I keep saying under 50% is because at a certain point, you do absolutely have to increase your listings to increase your sales. There is a point where you kind of reach that.
So it can be a bottleneck where you need to post more items because you're selling so many items, you just have to keep up to keep track.
Keep up with demand almost,
yeah. Exactly.
With that said, I think that these tips are useful regardless. You should always be doing this, but don't discount adding more listings once you've hit over, 50 and over. Don't discount it. Okay, so what I want to do is, I'm sure your question is, okay, well then how do I increase my average sell-through rate? I'm obviously not picking up the right items, or people don't want my stuff, or these are all things that I felt for a while. I kept saying...
You still occasionally will feel that way.
Yeah, bad sales days, I do that. But it's not necessarily true. And there are a lot of things you can be doing that I think we all forget to do a lot of the time. Right. So
I'm going to let you take over because I can't read your handwriting.
Okay, so the first thing I would suggest doing to increase your sell-through rate is to go back and look at the items that have been sitting for you the longest. So what I generally do is I will go onto Poshmark or eBay or Mercari, and first thing I try to do is look at the oldest listings. Now, on Poshmark, I relist a lot. Relisting is so important. Absolutely always relist. But it does make it a little difficult to know what your oldest listing is. However, on eBay and Mercari, generally speaking, we don't relist as much. We could and should, but most of us don't. So you might be able to find what your old listings are that way. Another way to find out is if you're keeping track of inventory. A lot of us have inventory spreadsheets. You might be able to look and see what items haven't turned over. What items have I been using the same inventory number? Or if I have a date on it, what's the oldest that it got dated into the inventory? Whatever your system is, go back and try to find those old items. Why are you laughing?
Well, it's so logical because the reason the math works is that you're not spending that extra money.
Right.
And you're getting more money back, but you're not spending more money.
Right. So it makes a lot of sense to do this. So first thing you do is relist. So I mentioned it there, and I'll mention it again. Relisting. It is so important. But what I will say is don't blindly relist. Don't just go and see, okay, these are old items. I'm just going to relist them and see if someone likes them. Evaluate your listings. So I evaluate in a few different ways. First thing I will look at is, have I done anything to this listing before? Have I updated the title? We want to make sure that our title has the brand name, the color,
the correct brand name.
Yes, the correct brand name. And he's saying that because I think it was yesterday,
yep.
I was evaluating old listings and I realized that I had an Anthropology top listed as HWA for the brand when it was actually HWR. I relisted it with the proper brand name on Mercari and sold within like 5 minutes, maybe? Yeah.
Same day. Sold same day.
So make sure that. So it's brand name, it's color, it's style name if there is one, and then any kind of defining features that you think is important.
Right. And make sure that, you've had a couple where you didn't have the correct size, where there were the wrong number of buttons on a blazer.
Right.
So making sure that everything is lining up to the correct item is tremendously helpful because then it takes the confusion away from the person looking at it going, well, I see 2 buttons. Why does it say 3 buttons?
Yes, and again, he is using actual examples that actually happened on a Burberry thing. I had put 2 buttons when it was 3 buttons, or maybe the other way around.
It was the other way around. So you put 3 buttons when it was 2 buttons.
Yeah, and I think what happened there was on my photo, I didn't have it all buttoned up, so it kind of took a guess, which never a good idea. But anyway, so make sure that your titles are good. Also, go through your description. Do you have keywords in there? Are you making sure that you're using things like dolman sleeves or cottagecore because it's super trendy right now? Or are you making sure that you're giving...
Athleisure.
Athleisure is a very trendy keyword right now. All different types of things like this. Loungewear, casual pants, all these different things. Make sure that you're putting all of that in there. And keywords and stuff change over time. So if you listed it a year ago, a lot of the keywords you may have used are probably different now, the ones that are important. So make sure that you're doing that. Check for spelling errors. I know we like to believe that we don't make mistakes, but I promise you, you've made a mistake along the way. And if you don't go back and check those listings, you're not going to know. So a lot of us have very limited time that we get these listings up, and we put them up there. We try to get up as quick as we can. We think we're doing everything we can be doing, but we're humans. And these mistakes happen, and these mistakes could be costing us a sale. The other thing that you're looking at when you're relisting is your photos. And not necessarily that they're bad. Now, I've gone through iterations of lighting setups and all of that, so there are definitely bad photos, for sure. But there's also just maybe the item just needed a fresh photo. Maybe you wanted to flat lay it, and even though you had a good hanging photo, or maybe you wanted to model it because, I don't know.
It just doesn't work on a mannequin, or doesn't work hung up on the wall.
Yeah, it could be a million different reasons that you decide to do that, but try some new photos. Try to spice it up a little bit, and also increase your price. So this one sounds silly because if it's not selling at $25, why is it going to sell at $35? But again, this works because what happens is after a certain amount of time, we start lowering our prices because we start feeling like, okay, this item needs to sell. I'm over it. I don't care. I want it gone. I'm done. So we lower our prices. Closet clear out, all different reasons. We lower our prices. Over time, that price gets so low that people start thinking, there's something wrong with that item. Yeah, I know they say it's only $25 and it's a $50 item selling from everywhere else, but I know they say it's fine, but something's wrong. I'm not buying that. Something's wrong. Right. And when you do that, you're losing out on a lot of sales. So you increase that price, and it does two things. It makes people feel like, okay, this is a good item. Like, obviously, they're not going to send me a damaged item for this price, but also it gives you room for offers. And people love offers. Even if they're actually spending more money in the long run, they like offers. They like to feel like they're getting a good discount.
If it's listed at $50 and I send an offer for $35, I feel like I'm getting a deal. Where if it's listed at $25 and I send an offer for $20, it's a less attractive offer, even though it's a lower dollar amount, and I don't understand it, but it works.
Right, it does. So, okay, so if you've gone through all of that, right, you've done all of those things, and it still hasn't sold, it hasn't moved, I don't know what to do. Another thing that you want to consider doing is offloading this inventory. So you are not in the storage business, and that is something that I am even struggling with to this day. It's hard to let go of an item. You picked it out, you thought it was great, you decided that that was something you wanted to sell, and it's hard to let it go. But that money that you have out into that inventory is not serving you right now. So what you need to be doing is going through and deciding, okay, is it time to cut my losses? And by that I mean going onto a group like Facebook Live Thrift, and I've talked about it before, and you can look at my old videos to see how that whole thing works. What you can do is offload those inventory for cost. So generally speaking, I don't do it a ton, but I will go through and I will take tranches of inventory, 20, 30 items, and I'll post it on Facebook Live Thrift and just get rid of it for cost. So I'm not making a profit on these items, but I'm not losing any money either. And they're only losing value sitting in my inventory.
Well, it's better than donating them because if you get cost back, then you don't lose what you paid.
Right.
And then you can just use that money again for something better.
Exactly. So that, I think that's really important. I know some people also do consignment. I'm not someone that uses consignment because at least it feels like in my area, the items that I purchase aren't necessarily bringing a good profit. I mean, we tried to sell Jeffrey Campbell boots at a consignment store and they wanted to give us like $2.
$6.
$6. Okay, so for us, it's not profitable to do that. But don't assume that it's not profitable for you. A lot of those
consignment online works. You're doing ThredUp.
Right, and I was going to get to ThredUp, but a lot of people do find Plato's Closet. What's the other one?
Buffalo Exchange,
Closet Mentor. All of those type of things are very useful. So check out your area and see, and give it a shot. I mean, we've given it a shot. So make sure you're not putting that as a cobwash. The other thing, as he said, is offloading inventory online. So that can look a few different ways, but ThreadUp is one that we use. There is a course out there for ThreadUp if you kind of want to learn really quickly. I can't remember the girl's name. She's on Instagram. I think it's like Career Angle or something like that. I'll try to find that information. But find out what is not working for you and try to send it into ThreadUp. I mean, if it's not selling for you anyway, it's not going to hurt you. And I mean, worst case scenario, you might lose a little bit of money, but money is money at this point. If it's been sitting for a year, you want to get money back into rotation. So do that. Research the brands before you send them in. Look them up on ThreadUp, see what they're selling for, and see if it makes sense for you.
Another good thing to do is a lot of your high ticket items that you haven't been able to move, if they're not a desirable or well-known brand, if you send them to ThreadUp, they take better photos and they have a better connection to those buyers.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're going to get less back in terms of a percentage, but less of $100 is better than all of $10.
Right.
So
right.
I'll take that.
Another thing for selling online would be try your already social selling platform. So if it's Instagram for you, Facebook, those type of things, make sure that you're sharing stuff on there. I have people that reach out to me through hashtags that I use where I'll put like Gal Meets Glam for sale, and somebody will reach out and say, hey, I saw that item. Like, is that still for sale? So make sure that you're sharing that stuff on there, sharing on your stories, all of that kind of stuff, because you never know who's looking for those items. And it could be somebody that you talk to every day. You don't know. So make sure that you're utilizing every platform you can. So that said, if you have gone through all of that and you're just like, okay, there's nothing for me to change. There's nothing I can do. The items just won't sell. Then you have to start thinking, okay, am I not keeping up with what is trending right now? Am I not paying attention to what people are looking for? Because what's really, really important to get that sell-through rate up is to know what people are looking for and stock that. So, and I don't mean that your entire closet has to be trendy. Absolutely not. I sell ugly sweaters because I like them and I have fun with them.
She sold a sweater that has face buttons.
I did.
And then a separate ugly sweater that had frog buttons.
It was a whole frog detail and frog buttons. So like, let's not get confused. But that's not super like exciting or trendy. I sell all different types of things.
A fish sweater, blazer.
I did. I sell things that I enjoy, but I make sure at the same time that I'm also looking for those trending items. And the reason that I do that is because what you want to do is bring traffic into your closet. So if you're making sure that you're always having something in there that is new, that is a keyword that people are going to be typing in, you increase your chances of bundles and you increase traffic to your closet. So make sure that you're doing that. And then the final thing I will say is, and this is probably something that people don't like to do, and I mean, do it if you want to, don't do it if you don't. Communicate with your buyers. So people will come into your closet and they will make you an offer, or they will start liking items. And some people don't know how Poshmark works, or some people don't understand that they can make bundles. They don't understand a lot of different things. So if you communicate with people, you have a better chance of converting that over into a sale. I have a lot of people that come back to me because, they thought about it and they decided that they're going to purchase because we've had a conversation. I have people that were going to buy something for a price I wasn't comfortable, and then they decided later on, after us talking, that they were willing to do so. So make sure that you're having a good conversation. The bundle feature, while not private, and I'll be clear about that, so don't talk to people like, in a way that you
inappropriate things that are going to hurt your business.
Yeah, in a way you wouldn't want someone to stumble upon it. Don't have conversation like that. But have professional conversations and polite conversations, because you never know what type of buyer this is going to be, even if it started off on a foot that you weren't thrilled with. So make sure you're doing that. Communicating is so, so, so important, and I feel like it is something that has increased my sales because I used to be very kind of passive. I didn't want to be annoying, so I didn't communicate. I just kind of like, I'll send you an offer and let's see how it works,
Talking to people is the best way to improve sales, which is why in all of the department stores they ask, can I help you?
Right.
That is just part of retail conventional wisdom.
Yeah. Now, personally speaking, do I enjoy when people ask me if they can help me in a retail store? No. But I've learned that I am not the typical shopper. So I need to go outside of myself and kind of do the typical customer service experience. So anyway, all of that to say that while increasing listings 100% will increase your profit, it is more important to increase your sell-through rate if you do not already have a really high-performing sell-through rate. And that is going to look different for different people, and we have to kind of swallow our pride and accept that we may have made a mistake along the way, or maybe we just have to...
You need to make an adjustment. It's not that you made a mistake, it's just that you have to adapt. Otherwise...
I mean, for me, it's mistakes. I go back through and I notice the mistakes, but I will say that the best way for me that I found is putting it all in a spreadsheet and then color coding it. I don't know if this is useful for everyone, but I kind of wanted to just share that's what I do. So I'll kind of take a list. Usually I go to my inventory report and I will sort by number of likes, and I might use that. Or I go to my oldest listings and use that. Depends on the day and what I feel like doing. But then I go through and I will highlight it in a color if I've sent out a really low really low offer to likers, so that, see if it works. I will highlight a different color if I relisted the item, and I will highlight a different color if the item has sold. So that way when I go back in, I can be like, hey, there's a bunch of green in here, which is my sale color.
Oh, green for money. That makes sense.
Yeah, see? And it makes me feel good. Like, I'm productive. And if I have enough spreadsheets that have a lot of green on it, I know that what I'm doing is working. So if that works for you, great. If there's another method that works for you, that's awesome too. But find something that makes you feel like you've accomplished something, because that's kind of the best feeling.
Yeah.
So anyway, I hope this is super helpful, and I hope that it makes sense to you. So let me know in the comments below if this is something that you do, if this is something you've already been doing, or if it's new to you. Let me know. But that is it. We will be back with a new video very soon, and our first collab video.
Yeah, collab.
Yeah.
Thank you all for watching this video.
Thank you.